Hello friends, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Divine, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to cut a trouser. So stick to the end of this video if you're a beginner or an advanced learner to learn how to cut a simple basic trouser. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do obviously is to find out the length of your trouser. I've already cut out mine. I'm using about 43 inches. The length of my trouser is 40 inches. I added 3 inches for the folding. If you don't want your folding to be too bold, you can add 1.5 inch. But I recommend you add 3 to 2 inches so you can fold the end of the trouser very properly. Okay? So now guys, because this is going to have a band, we're going to be removing 1.5 inch from this to get whatever measurement we're going to use. Even when I was putting the length, I made sure to put 1.5 inch and then mark 43. Okay, I hope you guys understand. Basically, don't start measuring from here. Okay, make sure you give 1.5 inch spacing, then downward. Okay, then start measuring downward. So the next thing you're going to do after minusing 1.5 inch, you're going to mark your hip line. You're just going to be marking your hip line. My hip line is 8 inches, so I'm going to be marking it. If you don't know how to find your hip line, basically it's from your waist to the biggest part of your hip. Okay, so we're just going to mark that 8 inch. Mark it here also. So we're going to rule from this part to this end. So I'm going to get my ruler and we're going to be ruling our 8 inches down. So now after ruling it, this is what you have. And remember, from here, from the 1.5 minus 1.5 to this place is 8 inches. So now from this 8 inch, you're going to come down and measure your crotch line. So some people don't know how to measure the crotch line, so I'm going to be showing you guys. So I brought a trouser here and I'm going to show you how to measure your crotch line. Basically from your waistline right here, you're going to measure to this point. What I have here is 13 inches. So that's how you get your crotch line. Or even when you're measuring on a person, that's how you get your crotch line. Okay, so we're working with 13 inches as you can see. So now we're going to just place the tape on 8 inch on the same line right here. 8 inches. And now we're going to be marking 13 inches. Okay, mark that 13 inches. Mark 13 inches. Just mark it straight up. So after getting your crotch line, the next line that we're going to be getting is our lap. So now, for you to get your lap, you're going to add 4 inch. Go down by 4 inch from your crotch line. So whatever you get is your lap line. Okay, so we're just going to be going down by 4 inch as you can see me doing. From that crotch line, remember the crotch line I'm using is 13 inches, so 13 plus 4 is 17, or you can just come down by 4 as I'm doing right here. So you just mark 4, and now you're going to use a ruler and rule down. This is exactly what we have. So now after ruling that, the next line we're going to be getting, before we continue, let me label all the lines. This is our hip line, HL. This is our flap, or you can call it crotch line. I'm just going to label it as flap. And this is our lap. So now, the next place we're going to be getting is our knee line. So we're going to just place this 8, 13, 17. So our knee line, we are using 23. Just mark 23. So you just measure the person's waist to the knee, and that's how you get your knee point. So now we're going to be, this is our knee line. So I've labeled everything together as you can see. So now it's time for us to begin our measurements. So the first thing we're going to be measuring is our hip. The hip I'm working with is about 42 inches. 42 inches. So for those who don't know how to divide by 4 on a tape, let me show you guys how it is done. Basically, this iron part is going to be placed on the inch you want it to be, while the other end will be folded like this. So you press down, whatever you get at the end is that measurement divided by 2, which is 21. 42 divided by 2 is 21. So now you divide 21 by 2, and what do you get? That's 10.5. So the hip measurement you're working with, which is 42, divided by 4 is 10.5. So we're going to be placing that on our hip line, okay? Just place the 10.5 here and mark. Then now for sewing allowance, we're going to be adding 1 inch. Perfect. Now we're going to be ruling this upward, just for reference. We're not measuring, we're just going to rule it upward. Rule from that line upwards. And now you're going to be measuring your waist measurement. We're going to be placing it on this part. The waist measurement I'm working with is 38 inches. Mark 38 inches. Like we did the first measurement, you're just going to place the iron part here, and the folded part, which is 19 inches, is 38 divided by 2. I hope you guys understand what I mean. So we're going to be doing it again. Once you fold it, whatever you have is 38 divided by 4, which is 9.5. Okay, so now instead of you placing it like this and marking, instead of you placing it like this, guys, instead of you place it like this as we did the waist, as we did the hip measurement, instead of you placing the tape like this, we're going to be placing it like this. Okay, so you place it like this, and now you're going to be marking it. You understand? We're not going this way, we're going this way. Okay, so whatever you got, you will mark it here, and then you are now going to go out by 2 inches. So why 2 inches? Well, because we're using 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for our dart placement, our dart intake. Okay, after you've marked this place, you're just going to use your French curve right here, and you're going to just curve that in. So it's looking too curvy for me, so I think I'll just use my ruler and just rule it straight. Just use your ruler, but if you have a more firmer French curve, you can use it, but I prefer using my ruler. Okay, so this is the line we're using, we're not using this line. So now to get our flap line, as you can see here, we're going to take everything we have on our hip line, which is 12. So we're going to transfer that same 12 inches on our flap line, also known as our crotch line. We're going to transfer it, and whatever you have, you're going to be adding 2.5 inches. That's 2.5. If you're on a bigger side, you can use 3 inches. If you're on a smaller side, you can use 2 inches, but I'm using 2.5 inches. You are just going to use your French curve and connect this place to this side. Connect it properly. Connect this point here to this place also. And that's how you get a perfect crotch line. Okay, you just connect all the dots together. Perfect. Okay, so now before we continue, we're going to be measuring whatever we have on this line. We're going to be dividing it by 2, and I'm going to explain why you have to divide it by 2. Okay, you divide it by 2, and once you divide by 2, you're going to mark that midpoint. Okay, so from this place now, we're going to be marking our dart. So for me, so to get the dart, you divide your nipple to nipple by 2. So nipple to nipple measurement I'm using is 9 inches. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So I'm just going to mark 4.5 here. and you're going to now rule a straight line with that 4.5. The next measurement we're going to be using is the lap measurement. So after using the 4.5 inch here, we're going to be marking out our dart. The dart measurement we're using is 1 inch, ½ inch on one side and ½ inch on another side. The length of the dart is going to be 4 inches minus, remember to minus the 1.5 for the belt, for the band. So this is 4 inches right here. So after marking that 4 inch, you're just going to carry a ruler and rule it straight down. Just a quite, a small dart. After doing that, that's what you get for your dart. And now we're going to be dividing our lap measurement. So guys, now for the lap, you're going to be dividing it by 2. Whatever you have, whatever your lap is, like your lap, round it. So now the lap measurement I'm working with is 27. So we're just going to be placing 27 divided by 2 is 13.5. Okay, so now did that 13.5, instead of us placing it like this to make sure it's accurate, since we have a middle line, we're going to be dividing it by 2. Okay, divide it by 2, and we'll now place that here. I'm just going to place that here plus 1 inch allowance. So whatever we have, we're going to place it here, and it's exactly on that line. I hope you guys understand what I mean. Like, this is 13.5. There's no space. So here now we're not going to be adding 1 inch. Okay, so whatever you have, make sure you do it in between this line. For our knee line, let me make sure the lines are clear. Okay, this is our main line we're going to be using. Please, I hope you guys understood what I meant. Whatever you get on your lap line, divide it by 2. Divide it by 2, then divide it by 2 again. Like now, let me explain, please. I want you guys to understand. My lap divided by 2, my lap is 27, divided by 2 is 13.5. 13.5 now is the measurement we're supposed to place. So, but we're not going to do that because we want to get an accurate measurement, since we have a line going in between our trouser. So the thing we're going to do now is that we're going to be dividing whatever we have by 2 again, and that midpoint, we'll place it here. So mine was exactly perfect, so I just placed it here and added 1 inch. I hope you guys understood what I meant by that. So now for your knee measurements, you're going to also divide by 2. The knee measurement we're using is about 24 inches. So let me explain this again. 24 divided by 2 is 12. As you can see, it's 12 inches. So instead of placing it like this, 12 inches on here, it's not accurate. So instead of doing it like that, what you're going to do is you're going to divide 12 by 2, so you get it equally on that line. Obviously, we all know 12 divided by 2 is 6 inches. So you place that 6 inches in between, mark one part, mark other part. Okay, then now you're going to be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance, but to make sure it's equal on both sides, you add ½ inch, which is right here, and you add ½ inch, which is right here. Now I'm just going to be ruling down and cutting out the pieces. Bring it down till we reach the end of our clothes or our garment, whatever you want to call it. So instead of us ruling it down straight, you're going to get the ankle, like the ankle of the person, to make sure if it's a fitted gown, if it's a fitted trouser, you get the ankle. But if it's a straight trouser or a bootleg, then you can just trace straight. Okay, but if it's a bootleg, but if it's a boot cut trouser, the knee is going to be a lot more tighter, okay, to give it that cone shape. I hope you guys understand. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on that very soon. But for this one, I already measured the person's ankle. Is basically this end part of the, so what we're working with here is 9.5 inches. So we're just going to be marking that 9.5 inches slightly on the fabric. Don't mark it. And now that 9.5, I'm going to be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay. So after adding that, now we're going to cut it and then cut the back. Okay, so after cutting it, this is what you have. After cutting, this is what you have. So now we're going to be cutting the back. We are now folding for the back. As you can see, the back is a few inches bigger than the front. Okay, so now to get the back accurately, please pay attention because this point is very, very important. First of all, we're going to be going up by 2 inches from the waistline. So before we go up by 2 inches, you're just going to be measuring from this middle dark line here to this point. Whatever you have here, you're going to divide it into 2, and from that point you're just going to be going up by 2 inches. So let's measure what we have here. What we have to this point is about 7 inches. So if you divide 7 by 2, divide 7 by 2 is 3.5. So you're just going to be marking 3.5 on your fabric. I'm using a pattern paper so you guys can clearly see. Okay, so now you're going to be going up, go up by 2 inches from that point that you just marked right here. Can you guys see? So you're just going to be going up by 2 inches here, and once you've marked the 2 inches, you're going to be going out from the hip line. You're going to be going out by 2.5 or 2.5 inch, whatever you want to call it. So you're just going to be going out by 2.5 inch, and on this point you're going to be doing the same exact thing. And this is what we have after we mark it together. So these are the 3 points you're going to be noting. So from this point right here, this point, we're going to fold it out. From this point, you're just going to use a French curve and curve it down to this point. So we're going to do that right now. You place your French curve and you're going to just curve it out very easily. Okay, just mark that here. Make sure it's aligned. Okay, I hope you guys can see what I am doing. Just do the same thing on this point right here. So you just make sure it's not too like steep. Make sure you get that curve at the end. Okay, perfect. You can use your hand to just so that's what you have after you've drawn out your lines right here. Just rule a straight line from that 2 inches we went up by. Just rule a very straight line, and once you've ruled that straight line, whatever you have on the waistline here, you're going to impute it to this part. Let me explain. So from here to this point, we have about 11.6 inches. So you impute that same thing, slanting it. Okay, let it not be straight. Let it not be straight. Okay, so you just put that 11.6 inches. You put 11.6 inches on here and you mark it. Okay, so once you've marked it, this is what you once you mark it, this is what you have. So we're just going to be putting it all together, ruling it straight. Just rule that very straight. This is what you are going to have. So after you've ruled it that way, it's time for us to impute 1 inch down to all the measurements. You're just going to be adding 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So we're going to be starting with our lap line. Will come out here by 1 inch. Knee line will come out here by 1 inch. Please do not use marker on your fabric. It's going to show. I'm just trying to illustrate to you guys. You just come out by 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch all through to the bottom part of your trouser. Do the same thing on this part right here. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and the same thing here, 1 inch. So after marking all those 1 inch, you're just going to glue it all together, okay? So now, this is exactly how you get your back pattern. So after this, we're just going to be cutting it out. The tutorial is so easy. So now we're just going to be cutting all of this out right now. So guys, at this point we're going to be notching our dart on both sides, okay? So you just mark it, and now you're going to notch it on both sides. So we're going to fold this in like this, exactly. And now we're going to be notching it. This will help you when you are sewing. It will be very easy for you to locate the dart. So we'll do the same thing for this part right here. Do the exact same thing, okay? Place both of them together symmetrically, and now you're going to cut it. And once you cut it, you are done. So now we're going to be removing the back pattern, the back part, and now we're going to be cutting the pocket of this trouser. So now to cut the pocket, I'm going to be going in by 2 inches on the waistline, as you can see here. And I'm also going to be coming down by 6 inches. So we're going to mark 6 inches here. Okay, we're just going to rule that down. Okay, sorry guys, instead of connecting it out here, since we don't have a measurement here, we're going to be connecting it into the trouser. Sorry guys. So you connect it from here into the trouser instead of here, okay? Just connect it straight, okay? This line is not among, okay? This is a false line. This is the line we are looking at, which is the line of our pocket. Just connect both lines with the French curve, and you've gotten your pocket curve. So after getting our pocket cover, we're going to cut it out, then we're going to cut our pocket. So now we're going to cut it out. So after cutting it guys, this is what you have exactly on the line. So now I'm going to teach you how to cut a pocket perfectly. For those wondering, you know, the width and the length of this material, for the length I used 11 inches, and for the width part, which is here to here, I used 7.5 inches. So now to cut out the pocket, you're just going to cut out 2. This is 2, okay? You can see it's 2, okay? So we're just going to be placing that on the fabric till it covers the end. Basically, this is going to be replacing the 2 inches that we cut out. I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. So guys, you're just going to place that fabric I just showed you guys. You place it, make sure you measure it, because it's not going to be straight, it's going to be slanted, as you can see. Measure it to make sure that it's 2 inches that is on the fabric, okay? Because it has to be exactly 2 inches to be able to fit on whatever you're cutting, and so that when you finish cutting everything, it will be exactly aligned on the trouser. So now we're going to be cutting out the excess. Just cut out that excess fabric. So guys, this is exactly how to cut the pocket. We're going to open it up now so I can show you guys what I'm about to do. Just going to rotate it like this, and from this edge you're just going to slant it, giving it that curvy shape. Perfect. So once you place it on your fabric, this is how it should look. Once you've placed everything, aligned it together, this is exactly how it should look. Okay? You're just going to be closing the down part with 1/2 inch, and everything will be perfect. So guys, this is our pocket. We're just going to be keeping this aside. So that's the front, and this right here is the back. I hope you guys can see that. That's the front, and this right here is the back pattern. This is our pocket. Remember, I tied it on. This is our pocket, and all I just did was that I cut out a band. I cut out a band of 1.5 inches, but instead of using 1.5, I used 4 inches, so that when I fold it, it will be 2. Then I will take away 1/2 inch, making it 1.5 inch, a 1.5 inch band. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to see the sewing tutorial of this trouser, make sure to turn on your notification to be notified when I post it. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Bye.